Hills of Success is a series that promotes money matters to smart women. During each episode, Zenelia Harris will share money lessons that debunk the typical messaging you hear around women and money. So if you want to gain valuable money tips wrapped around professional advice to help you navigate your personal money and professional journey, tune in to Hills of Success. Hello, I would like to welcome you to Hills of Success, a Finance and Stilettos podcast series. I'm Zenelia Harris, author of the book Finance and Stilettos, Money Matters for the Well-Heeled Woman, certified financial planner, former member of the CNBC Financial Advisor Council, and president of Harris & Harris Wealth Management Group, a firm focused on the financial success of professional women who are going through various life transitions such as job change, marriage, widowhood, or retirement. My guest today is Darlena Austin. She is the owner of Synergy Venture Group LLC, the parent company for Synergy Behavioral Strategies and Darlena Austin. As the leading psychotherapist and clinical social worker for Synergy Behavioral Strategies, Darlena is known as a self-redesign strategist. Using her signature change strategy, Loving Yourself for Real, Darlena partners with women who are ready to live, love, and create from their unaltered truth. Darlena is convinced that every individual is born to produce greatness, despite all of life's adversities. For over 25 years, Darlena has had the distinct privilege of partnering with families and individuals as they navigated through crises and challenges, providing a blueprint which supports women in achieving an intentional self-redesign is the core of Darlena's passion and purpose. She often says, you may not be able to change your before, but you can absolutely change and redesign your after. Darlena enjoys multiple life roles, including wife to her husband, James, mother to her children, Caleb and Camille. When the Austin party of four is not enjoying family travel, Darlena writes scripts, laughs with her sisters, and searches for the best spa. Let's welcome my guest today, Darlena Austin. Darlena, welcome to the Hills of Success podcast. I'm so excited to jump into this conversation because you have such a wealth of knowledge, and I want to begin by having you share your professional journey with us.
Awesome. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here in this space with you. I don't take this time for granted. And in answer to your question about the professional journey, the journey actually started in college. So I went to college at 17 and I had two goals in mind. Number one, to get into a field where I could help people and where I could also make money. And so I said, why not be a doctor, right? And so what put an end to that was the biology, the organic chemistry, the physics. It just wasn't my thing. So when I was sitting and talking with my academic advisor, she said, well, let's look at where you're doing well. And it was the social sciences, it was the humanities, it was the psychologies. And she said, you're doing well there. I said, yeah, that stuff is easy. She said, but that's where your gifting is. I said, I thought college was supposed to be hard. You know, I'm supposed to be taking the calculus and the stats and the organic chem. She goes, no, college is where the giftings and your natural inclinations are strengthened in an academic environment. And if this is how you're wired, flow with that. Totally changed my perspective. I just taken for granted that, you know, being called the Mother Teresa of the family and being the one who, you know, everyone would come and talk to and share their information. I just took that natural gifting for granted. So the journey, you know, I became enlightened on the journey in college. And then that led me into various positions in the human services arena as well as the mental health arena. So I have been a crisis counselor out of a psychiatric hospital doing mobile crisis work. I have developed child care programs, parenting programs. I've been in child welfare. I have done community mental health. And I've also done my own practice, which is where I am now. So I am currently working with women who are desiring to go to the next best version of themselves, and they want to do it with intentionality. So I am able to partner with them on their journey. So that's what I'm doing now. Hopefully that answers your question.
It does. It's a beautiful journey. And I love that you were connected to someone who understand that tapping into what your natural strengths are is the crust of finding your purpose.
Yes. Yes.
So many times we spend in our adulthood, we spend a lot of time figuring out what is it that we're supposed to do with our lives.
Yes.
And you encountered someone in college who was insightful enough
Yes.
to tell you, let's look at what you're gifted at,
Mm-hmm.
what you're naturally good at.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I have questioned myself as to what things I'm naturally good at. What things do I receive compliments on? And I
Yeah.
went through this process in my 20s because I wanted to find my purpose and I wanted to be in a profession where I was utilizing my natural gifting as well. So
Mhm.
I think that that is such a beautiful story. So thank you for sharing it.
Absolutely.
So in your life, and I know a little bit because, we met because of a panel that we were on, but can you talk about something that happened in your life that was a major life lesson for you?
Hmm. I will pick the first one that comes to mind because it was this one that started this trajectory of my life that I am on, which I believe is destiny, right? And so my husband and I, we were involved in a real estate, you know, deal. And as a result of that deal not going the way that we desired, we ended up, you know, having $250,000 in cash leave our hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I went through as a result of that situation, it allowed me to see that I needed to partner with myself a different way. And learning how to partner with myself a different way, it led me into what I'm doing now, operating in this space that I call loving yourself for real. That adversity ended up really being a gift because I had to learn to go deep into the layers and the crevices and the storerooms and the treasure rooms of my soul to really unpack childhood experiences, stereotypes, and meanings that were all part of this manufacturing center of things called Darlena that was showing up in a way that allowed me to not like myself.
Mm.
And had it not been for that moment, I never would have done the work. And so I'm grateful for the gift of that experience because now I have moved from feeling that I wasn't good enough to knowing that I am good enough, that I am more than enough. And that actually is the journey that I take women on, from thinking you're not good enough to knowing that you are more than enough, that you are good enough. And so that lesson is my gift. It is part of the platform that I have built um, my practice on.
Mm. I think that's powerful.
Thank you.
And our challenges in life, they are eye-opening. and they are to help us to grow and to learn more about who we are. And I also think about it in the sense of what we are to give back to the world. Our
Yes.
stories aren't just for us, they are for us to share so that others can learn from our life journeys. So now, in going through that experience with the $250,000 and losing it, what have you learned about money since encountering that situation?
Mhm. That's a powerful question. And here's what I've learned about money. It's not about money.
Mm,
It is about you. It is about me. It is about my relationship with myself. I'm the common denominator of my life. And everything in my life is going to take its direction from me. So when I have a self concept, a self image of not being enough, and this is what I discovered,
mm-hmm,
that self concept of not being enough, my money is going to take its cue and it's going to say, okay, I'll make sure that there's not enough. And then I will do things, right, in my
mm-hmm,
decision making and my behaviors to make sure that I don't have enough. So I learned that in order for me to see more health in money, I had to have more soul health, right? Because
mm-hmm,
the soul is the internal manufacturing center for everything, Darlena. And
mm-hmm,
when it's healthy, when it enlarges, when it expands, then every area of my life, my social relationships, my marriage, my parenting, I call something called autonomous living. And
mm-hmm,
these are all of the areas of your life. They're financial, it's social, recreational, biological, parental, marital. They're all in AL. Autonomous living really is about taking control and ownership of every domain of your life. In order for that ownership to look healthy and to yield you what pleases you, your soul has got to be healthy. So when I started changing, my money started changing because I was giving it a new set of instructions, a new set of commands, because I was now different. That makes sense?
yes, I love it. When I started changing, my money started changing.
Yes. And
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay. Okay. So, how did you see that change? What were the changes that you saw
so,
immediately? Because some things happen over time. So,
well,
was it, so
absolutely.
I guess let me go back and ask this.
Mhm.
Was the changes immediate, or did it happen over time, or was it a combination of both? And what was it that you saw?
Listen, great question. And it has such a rich depthness to it. And I'm going to answer this as concisely as possible.
Okay.
What I first discovered, I wasn't going, see, okay, money was the carrot in front of me because we had just lost $250,000 cash. I was like, what can I do to make sure that doesn't happen again? Because Darlena, that wasn't wise of you. You weren't acting well, and look at, you weren't acting well in that decision, and look at the implications of that in your life. So I started this journey to make sure that that never happened again, that I would never lose that kind of money again. And so I stumbled across a book, and it was called The Psychology of Wealth by a clinical psychologist named Dr. Charles Richards. And because I have this thing about money and this thing about psychology, I was like, what a grand title. And I
Mm-hmm.
started diving into the book. And in reading the book, I had that epiphany. It wasn't the money.
Mm-hmm.
It was, number one, how I saw myself and the knowledge that I brought to the table concerning that deal.
Mm.
And if I wanted to ensure that that scenario never happened again. I was going to have to show up in a different version of myself, a wiser version, a version in which I partnered with myself with compassion and a deeper level of love, grace, and understanding. So what I have learned is I I desire and I deserve to show up in the ecosystem of Darlena as a whole, healthy individual. And when I do that, my money and everything else says, okay, we will follow you. I am the leader in my
Mm.
ecosystem.
Mhm.
And everything is taking its cues from me. So if I'm operating in a mindset of I'm not enough, then guess what? Not enough is going to show up in not enough time, not enough energy, not enough health, not enough friends, not enough laughter, not enough joy. The not enough will dominate.
Mhm.
But when I start the process of knowing and owning that I am enough, and trust me, I am now moving from knowing I am enough into the arena of knowing that I am more than enough.
Mm.
That's where the abundance comes from. I'm a Christian psychotherapist, and one of the scriptures that grabs me is when it says, I pray above all things that you prosper and you be in health to the degree that your soul prospers. That's
Mm.
telling me that everything in my life is taking its cues from my soul. But how many of us truly understand how to do soul work? The reason why I came up with the strategy was because when you think about changing yourself, it can feel so overwhelming because it's like, I've done this since I was born. Everybody in my family thinks this way. How am I supposed to change decades of doing and being and existing? So therefore, we can abandon a process of change. So when I came up with this strategy, it was because number one, I lived it. I still do it. But
Mhm.
also two, I wanted other women to experience what it's like when you make the change in yourself, in your soul self, so that everything in your life gives you back more of what you like.
Mm. Love that. Love that. Now you tapped into something. That whole idea of what you saw growing up,
Mm,
because we're habitual creatures. And so if you saw mom and dad or either or do or practice a particular habit, you tend to take that on as a child, or you do the opposite, right?
mhm. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
share with me what you saw growing up when it pertained to money.
hmm So growing up, that's a great question too. So growing up, I have vivid moments. One one moment that I have, or one memory that I have, is seeing my mother sit on the corner of her bed with an envelope bill, um,
Mhm.
and she was writing out who got paid what the next day.
Mhm.
I remember hearing conversations amongst friends and cohorts, other students, that certain people have money, certain people who look a certain way, certain people who were born in a certain socioeconomic class, they were the ones who had money. Television gave me a picture of money, who had money, who didn't have money. Print media also gave me, images of who had money and what a money lifestyle, was. So when I look at money like I look at other areas in life, and I think every area in life is actually a continuum. You have your starting point, you have where you are now, and you have where you are going. So when I was younger, I was being fed images, passively receiving images from what I saw my parents, relatives, what I heard with my friends, what I saw on television, what I read about. I was receiving that information. And then I began processing that information. This is the work of the soul, right? That
Mm-hmm.
information gets assimilated. And then as I grew up and grew older and started making decisions, my decisions really were an outgrowth of the current information that was
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
So then
Mm-hmm.
I had to start looking at now, do I like the results that I've gotten? Because now, as you grow in this continuum, you get into a position of ownership where I was passively receiving information before and acting on it. I now come to a place where I say, do I like the outcomes? And if not, what can I do? What can I change? I now step into an arena of ownership and accountability and maturity and in order to get something different in my future. So where I am in the continuum is I have been actively seeking new information to get more of the results that make me happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, and hence this is part of, how we connected, because I love connecting with individuals who have a abundance mindset, a healthy mindset, and a self-concept that says, I can do anything and I can accomplish anything. So hopefully I answered your question.
Well, first of all, thank you for, you know, what you see in me. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that so much. Some days I feel that, and some days I'm looking to others to pour into me because we all need each other.
Absolutely.
And but we still have to be careful about who we are surrounded by and who is pouring into us. I think
Absolutely.
that that's a big component to being successful.
Hmm.
And success is defined individually. It's not based on what the media prints about what success is, because success in the media is all about money and is also driven from a masculine perspective.
Yes.
And to me, I think success is more individual. It is, uh, I look at it as though it's, am I present for my family and my friends?
Mhm.
Am I true to who I am and what I bring to the table? Am I passionate about what I do?
Mm.
So those are some of the definitions that I attach to what success looks like.
Absolutely.
So I love that you're right. The media has played in so many mediums a strong, it has been a strong component to how we interact with money,
Hmm.
how we spend money,
Hmm.
and how we think of ourselves as two Black women
Hmm.
who are professional Black women and how we handle money.
Yes.
So that's why these conversations are powerful, because I'm hoping that each conversation changes how little Black girls grow up seeing themselves as
Mm.
a professional, but also, most importantly, how they see themselves in relation to managing money,
Yeah.
so that their relationship with money will change or be influenced by these conversations. So thank you for your answer.
Yeah.
Um, I want to go into, what do you feel is your legacy
Mm.
to your children when it comes to what you put out into the world, but also the financial legacy that
Mm.
you would like to leave your children?
Okay, so now you've got my heartstrings. Talk about the babies. And honestly, for the past, I would say about 5 to 7 years, I have been really focused in on legacy building. I think part of that comes because of the age that I am and where I am in the life cycle. And so when I think about what I want to give to my children, is something that I would love to give to others, which is the ability and the knowing that of your identity. Owning who you are and operating from identity. And I know that seems so very, very simple, but here's why it's important to me. Identity is everything. Identity determines how a thing functions. Identity determines your influence, your impact. And so as a Christian psychotherapist and as a mother who wants my children to see and to tap in and to actualize their greatness, they're going to have to know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And this journey of self-discovery really is a journey of discovering who you are. I believe that we are all created for greatness. God has created us in his image and likeness to do good, to do great things. He's even put his glory on us. And so we all come here loaded with potential to do, to create, to become, to impact, to influence. And there are things out there, and it's this thing called life. Things in life would try to cause you to think less of yourself and to stop you from entering into the fullness of who you are, your God-given identity. If I can cause my children, number one, to see their greatness, to own their greatness, not because I said you're great and because you're mine and I validate your existence, but a shift happens on the inside of you, son, and a shift happens on the inside of you, daughter, where you know you are great because you are created by the one who loved you and desired you to be here, filled you with potential, and you've got a destiny. There's a reason why you're here. One of the most profound things about man is that we all want to know our purpose. We all
Mm-hmm.
want to know why we are here. And I want my children to enter into that place of knowing why I'm here. And I want them to enjoy the journey. And so the legacy that I want to be able to give to my children and for them to pass on to my great, 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 great grandchildren, right, is
Mm-hmm.
that number one, we operate in our what I call unaltered truth. I actually have a 7-month coaching program where I work with women on discovering their unaltered truth. And the reason why I say unaltered is
Mm-hmm.
because things in life happen and it tries to alter who we are, who we think we are, and how we see ourselves. So we have to go through an intentional process of taking back our truth, discovering our truth, and walking in the truth of who we are. And being unaltered means that you can experience freedom and liberation and creativity. You can enjoy life and you can enjoy it from the truest version of yourself, and you can enjoy it with all of its simplicities and honesty and transparency and vulnerability. You can enjoy being alive.
Mm.
That's what I want for them. And when they enjoy being alive, they have now opened up compartments of their brain to think differently. Creative problem solving. They can connect with themselves and their community in a whole different way because they own who they are. They
Mm.
own their identity. And when they own who they are, they are now able to impact and be impactful. And so the legacy that I want my family is just own who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Walk in the
Wow.
truth of who you are.
Yes. That is so beautiful. I was meditating on what you were saying
Mm,
because there is freedom in that,
yes,
in
ma'am.
owning who you are, because it frees you to be whatever it is you want to be.
Yes, ma'am. You're not looking for external validation. You're not
Right.
looking for, a title. You're not looking for the balance in the bank account. You're not looking for the man, the woman. You're not looking for the house, the car to give you this false sense of your worth and who you are. You
Mm-hmm.
bring to the table an authenticity that shakes the environment, that shifts things around because you're walking in there in truth. Truth always sets you free. When you
Mm.
walk in your truth, you can enjoy freedom. See, God calls that being naked and unashamed. That is
Mm.
liberating. That is freedom. That is creativity. That is owning who you are. That is all the things that we talk about clinically with the psychology of self, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-mastery, self-worth, self-validation, and all of those other things. You own it. That's what I
Because
want
you're
my
free.
babies, because you're free.
Yeah. Because you're free. Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much. I loved, love this conversation. And we could go on. But I want you to take time to share how people can connect with you and connect to your work.
Ooh, thank you for the opportunity. So, you can find me on my website, www.darlena, Darlena, Austin, AUSTIN.com. You can also use Darlena Austin and find me on IG as well, and also on Facebook. When you go to my website, you are able to shoot me a note if you would like to work one-on-one, either in a therapeutic sense or in a coaching sense, right? Um, if you want to know a little bit more about my clinical profile, you can also find me on Psychology Today. So you have Psychology Today, my website, my IG, as well as my Facebook to find me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having this conversation.
I
And
enjoyed
I
it.
I did too. It was profound. I'm gonna have to meditate on the things that you said because I've never heard it stated the way that you shared it. And
Mm,
it was enlightening. So, but it was enlightening, but it also made me think like, oh, I really do need to think about the things she was communicating because they were so powerful. So thank you today for joining us. And I look forward to continuing to share your work. And I wish you so much success in the work that you're doing. And I am just so appreciative of you sharing your insights with us today.
and thank you so much. And I just want to, just want to thank you too for creating not just this platform, but creating the business that you have where you are helping women to be able to walk in financial ownership. That's a powerful thing because when women own their finances and when women take their place in the financial arena, because we're wired differently, we get a different kind of result. And so thank you so much for creating that platform. And I look forward to doing some more work with you.
Yes, 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 I do too. So thank you.
Thank you and God bless you.